Alright, Hellions, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at something interesting, in my opinion. We're going to be comparing some fake cards that got sent to me recently with some real cards, checking out the differences, and I'll let you guys kind of know the process in which I will hopefully be getting my money back from these particular cards. So that's what we're hopping into today. If you enjoy the video and if you enjoy my videos in the past but you're not yet subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button. Make sure to ring the bell for notifications. And thank you very much for being here. Let's take a look at some of these cards. So I was on Buyee one day and I saw an auction that was ending very quickly on some cards that were very sought after, but they were pretty dang good price. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy them. I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to buy them and hope for the best. And basically what happened was, nowhere in his description did he say that they were fake or replicas, right? And I purchased them. And then the next day, because I was a little hesitant about them, I was like, oh man, they were a really good price, and I'm starting to worry that they're fake. So the next day, I looked on his account again, and I saw the same auctions up, the exact same auctions up again. So I click on them, and now in the description, he says that they're replicas. So I got bamboozled basically because he lied in his first auctions, in his first transactions. So he didn't say that they were replicas. I bought them later in his other stuff. He said they were replicas. Now the shitty thing about Buyee and how they do stuff is that if you figure that out, if you say, dang, these cards are going to be fake, you still have to pay for the shipping to ship it to you. So you've purchased the cards, you figure out they're fake. I message Buyee, I say, hey, here's the situation. I know that these cards are fake. I don't want them. Return them. They don't do that. They won't return them for you. They basically say, well, you need to make sure that they're fake before you buy them, which in some cases is just not realistic, especially on Buyee with the language barrier, with the sellers and stuff like that. And when an auction is ending, in the next 5 minutes, you can't really message a seller on Buyee because most likely there's a 12, 13-hour time difference, and they're not going to get back to you in the 5 minutes before you purchase an item. So you're kind of taking a risk in purchasing the item, any items on Buyee, because you never know when people are going to send you fake cards. So I reached out to Buyee. I said, hey, these are fake. Return them. Give me my money back. They're like, no, that's not how it works. You're screwed. Because in their terms of service, they actually say like they don't guarantee the authenticity of anything you buy through there, and they don't provide returns based on things being counterfeit, which is kind of crazy. But I understand they're kind of like a middleman. They're just facilitating the transaction. You're not actually purchasing anything from them. So to some extent, it makes sense. Now, the shitty thing is you then have to buy the shipping, right, to ship it to you, which I think was like $20. Luckily, I had some other cards there that got shipped out. And when they showed up, I mean, it was so obvious that they were fake. It was insane. From the front, it looks pretty decent. Like, it has the holographic pattern. Obviously, like, the print seems pretty okay, just from like a photo standpoint. But obviously you can see like the cut on the corners and stuff is not, it looks like it was cut out by a scissors. The corners aren't cut as round as a typical Japanese card would be, and then you can kind of see like where the weird cardstock is coming through, where it's like this white cardstock on the side, and you guys can't feel it, but this is like way more stiff, like difficult to bend all that well, and this is just like whoop, whoop, whoop. Like it's super thin comparatively, so it's definitely easier to tell. Like the size of the card is legit. They got the sizing correct, but yeah, I mean it's super easy to tell when you have them in your hand. The biggest tell is the back. So obviously, huge color difference here. The print is a bit fuzzy. It's a bit I don't know, what would you call it? Like out of focus. It looks like maybe the print has been a little stretched to actually print on the card, or it didn't print well on the cardstock that they used. There's like this weird pattern on the back of like dots and wear and stuff, probably from the printer. And then on top of that, the coloring is just completely off, as you can see. It's super. This one is much more muted, which is the real card. This one is super, like the contrast is super heavy, saturated, and the border is just a different color overall, like in general. And the border, it just looks like it was printed, because obviously they didn't print the what would you call it, like the feathering or like the fading in from the edge to the back. It just goes from this being printed to that being printed. There's like no gradual feathering into the actual back of the card. So very obvious when I received this that it was fake. You can definitely tell as well, the little type logos inside the circles, they're harder to read. It's really easy to see the little fighting pattern here in the circle, but it's really hard to make out the fighting pattern here. Same with the electric pattern. You can see the electric pattern here, kind of hard to make it out here. So you can just tell, like, obviously the print quality, the print detail on this card is definitely not as good. But like I said, the front is surprisingly deceptive. And I think that's what is a little frightening, or would be a little frightening, is, to get the hollow pattern to look like this. Like, it actually looks like a hollow pattern. It's not just like shiny ink like printed on top. It's like, it's legitimately looks like a decent hollow pattern on the front of the card. And the coloring and stuff on the front look pretty good. I just wanted to kind of point this out and show you guys, like, hey, when you're buying stuff from overseas, even if you're just buying on eBay or whatever, it's important to really take a look at the pictures, and don't purchase any high value items without seeing pictures. Like, I know some people like to buy from TCG Player, Troll and Toad. You also see like eBay listings where they just have stock images of the card. They don't actually show you what it is. And as we know, like, a lot of people say near mint, well, they actually mean like moderately played. So just be careful when you're out there buying cards and stuff. You definitely can run into people trying to dupe you. You're probably thinking, like, how are you going to get your money back? How does that work? How are you protected? Well, you're not protected at all from this type of stuff from Buyee or from the seller, because they're going to do whatever they can to try and not give you your money back. So basically, what I recommend and what I've had good luck with so far is using PayPal. So using PayPal has pretty good buyer protection, and each of these situations that I've run into, buying stuff from Japan and it not showing up, or not showing up in the correct quantity, or showing up fake, I've reached out to PayPal, I've opened cases and claims, and they usually reach out to Buyee, and then Buyee kind of makes a decision on whether or not I'm actually going to get the money back. So for these in particular, I have to return these, I guess. I got an email this morning that said, hey, to get we're offering you a full refund, but you have to return the cards. And I think that's because I provided a lot of good information to them, a lot of good evidence as to the problem, and that what I'm saying is correct. It's not, I'm not just making it up, or it's not that I screwed up. It's that the seller was dishonest in his original listings for these cards being replicas and not telling that to me. So basically what I did is I screenshotted both original listings showing that there's no mention of them being fake or replicas, and then I screenshotted his new listings that said that he was selling replicas, and I sent all that stuff in. I made little footnotes on the things of, like, this is when it was bought, this is when it was, when it was listed, this is how much I, purchased it for, all sorts of stuff. I made sure to go through and do really, really detailed, like, evidence, essentially. I was like a Pokemon card detective going and trying to get my money back. And yeah, I was kind of surprised that Buyee offered a refund. And maybe they reached out to the seller and the seller offered a refund. Based on, the fact that he lied. That might be the case. There was one other case in which I had to reach out to Buyee. It was for these cards. The auctions in which I won these cards, the images showed like 7 of each. So I thought I was buying a lot of 7, and the price was quite high. So I assumed, like, yeah, okay, I'm getting 7. No, they only sent me 1 of each. So in this case, Buyee didn't help me at all. They didn't offer me a refund at all, and I actually had to reach out. PayPal was able to help me, probably more because the cost of the product was lower ish. These are obviously much more expensive, but the cost of the product was lower. So PayPal is just like, hey, you know what? We understand what happened here. We're just gonna refund you. So far, I've had luck purchasing things on Buyee using PayPal, and when this type of unfortunate situation occurs, PayPal has been really helpful with doing that. So I would definitely recommend, if you're going to use Buyee to purchase things from Japan, definitely make sure you're protecting yourself using a payment provider that you feel like protects you. PayPal's been decent for me. So if you're interested in doing that, definitely make sure you're not just putting in a credit card of like a random company or using your bank account straight up. You should definitely use some sort of service like PayPal, or like I don't know, like your Chase card or something. Something with a big company behind it who's going to protect you with your best interests. So yeah, that's all I got for you. Make sure you guys are careful out there purchasing from other countries and just from other sellers that you don't know. Make sure you're careful out there. You don't want to get duped and then not be able to get your money back. So hopefully this was somewhat informative or just interesting to look at, you know, fake cards versus real cards. And if you enjoyed the video today, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs. Lots of cool stuff unlocks at 1,000 subs, and we're so close. So if you enjoy my content, if you've been here before but you haven't quite subbed yet, definitely do that. And ring the bell for notifications to be the first to check out my new videos. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.